Hello, Lennart Ploom.
Hello.
Director of the Stockholm City Archives. Welcome. We are so glad to have you with us.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
Tell us shortly a bit about your background and how you ended up in the Stockholm City Archives.
Well, I ended up sort of from the beginning in the City Archives. I started that 20 years ago. One of my, early jobs after my exam in the humanities in Stockholm University. And a bit of an accident, really, that I've stayed so long, which is due to a very interesting place to work, and during my 20 years, I think this is my 8th job at City Archives. So that's about it about me.
But you know a whole lot about the City Archives.
Yes, I do. I think so.
Okay, so now you are going to build a new archive.
Right.
Tell us a bit about that.
We have in the City Archives today, we have about 85 kilometers of paper records on paper. We expect during the next 15 years we'll get another 60,000 meters, 60 kilometers of paper. So we are full. We don't have space for any more. So now we've found a new space in Liljeholmen. It's the old Swedish liquor company Vin och Sprit, their old facility there, which hasn't been used for decades, which is in the mountain, in the rock, large storage rooms, which the city now is converting to archive space for us, where we expect to be able to keep about 100 kilometers of archives there. So we are one part of this project is having sustainability in the long time storage of archives for the city. And another thing we want to do is to increase the public's access to our records. During the last 4 years, we've doubled the number of visitors to the archives from 25,000 to about 50,000 this year. We expect it to be. But we have very interesting material concerning the building of Stockholm. It's architectural drawings for the houses. Every house that has been proposed to be built during the last 300 years is kept in the archives. This is part of UNESCO's Memory of the World list, but we are having trouble now, as it is, to give the right access, which we have to do, to the public. So our public offer in Liljeholmen will be concentrated on the building of Stockholm. And in this, we want to cooperate with the Technical College, Architectural School, the Architectural Museum, Arctes, Stockholm City Museum, and others. Trafikkontoret, the traffic office, will be one of the co-actors there. And we want to create a so broad variety of knowledge about the building of Stockholm as possible to make it interesting for everyone who's interested not only in the history but also in the future of Stockholm. So that's about, in a very short way to put it.
So the city of Stockholm before summer decided, the city council decided to take this strategy for how the digital strategy for how Stockholm will become the smartest city in the world. So have you thought about this? How will this new archive be smart and connected?
Yeah, we've thought a lot about that, because we see that the common preposition, or the common thinking about archives, is that soon everything will be digital, and that is not true. We digitize a lot, about 10 million pages each year, but 10 million pages is about 0.5% of what we keep. So everything won't be digitized in the way people expect it to be if we don't invest more money than we want to in it. But at the same time, we we know that we don't need to digitize everything because we've a long tradition of digitizing. Since the 70s, we've converted analog paper to digital databases and such. And we know that if we do that, we get we don't double the usage. We it's 100-fold usage, and it's the possibilities of usage grow exponentially, really. And then with this experience of digitization and how to connect different kinds of information bits to each other, I think the smart connected city strategy is really, it's like a hand in a glove for us. It's what we want to do, and we think this could be a very interesting test arena to try to find new ways of using information, because the traditional way of using archives is that you're interested in history. You come there to study the history of something, your family or the city or architecture or whatever. But if we can realize the potential which comes with digitization, we could probably get a myriad of other groups, target groups that we don't see today, to see usability in archival information, and that's one of our main objects for the archives, is to get the usage to grow.
We did a workshop also this spring.
Yes.
Where we connected you guys with your colleagues from a national level, Riksarkivet, but also some startups and larger companies together with Arctes, for instance, and researchers. How did this workshop affect you? How could you benefit from that?
Well, the first reaction from my side was that how interesting does it sound to come to the City Archives 9 o'clock in the morning in February to discuss archival storage. It doesn't. I think I'd found an excuse to go somewhere else, probably. But the really fascinating thing was that how dynamic and inspiring this workshop turned out, because people were really had lots of ideas of how we could use digitization, to use new ways of using technique to end up in a totally different world. I thought, well, we could have shelves, we could have volumes with tags, but we ended up with, well, we can make the archives talk to each other, and we can make the shelves tell us things. We can use artificial intelligence to find totally new structures in the archives and help us getting more people to see this. So it was a very good day.
Yes, I think so too. Okay, so in Urban ICT Arena, we say that 15% of digitalization is about technology and 85% is about mindset and organization.
Yeah.
So how could you relate to that?
Well, I can relate to that in many ways. I think that I think we have one problem or challenge or dilemma, which is that we ourselves have to focus more, I think, on getting mature in the digital world, to see more of the connection possibilities that we don't see, because I think the ways we work and the working ways affect how we do a lot of things. And at the same time, we feel that we are very connected. We have our bank in our phone. We have all our connections. We communicate a lot, but we really have to work on. And I can see that for myself, with myself as example, that we really have to work on how do we move into this world with the right view. Because it's easy to just feel that, well, we need a new computer because we need a new program that has come. But we can't act as if things are already lying ahead and they're just getting given to us. because everything ahead is what we make it. And if we want this smart, connected city and world, we really have to work with the 85% you talked about, knowing how does the digitalization affect people's mindsets, and how can we help the good things coming out of it, and what do people expect in the future? How do we find out where we want to be? That's quite where you come into behavioristic approaches, psychology. How do people work, and what are the fundamental things we want? Because if we want to, as I see, the smart connected city is a city where the interaction between things like the city archives and the users is much more melted together, and that's what I want. Because when we look at archives, we know a lot about archives. We know where they are, we know how big they are, but we don't know what people want out of them. So we have to understand more of what people want and what the challenges are to make them know how they can use them. So I think we have a lot of work to do.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
And we should do it together, definitely. Now, when you're standing here or sitting here in front of the cameras in this Not Boring podcast, is there anything you would like to address to our viewers?
I think the things I said just now are very important. If we have to work with, if I look at my colleagues, co-workers at the City Archives, my duty as the director is to help them to move into a changing world. And this could be, that's what people say all the time, the world changes, we have to adapt. But it's really so important, because we always have to work with limited resources and expectations that are ever growing, and at the same time that's what we want. So my address in that is that we have to work more together, and I think the agencies of the city have to really start working more and more, melt together vital capacities, because otherwise we'll optimate. We'll build our own things
silos.
New silos, and we will sit in the future with large costs to merge everything together. So we have to merge more, and we have to help each other more in that way.
I love that. Beautiful final words.
Thanks.
Thank you, Lennart, for coming.
Thank you.
Have a great fall.
Yeah, you too.